Good evening. It's Anita Haynes with Stamp with Anita. Welcome to the studio this evening. If you catch this live, let me know you're here on this Thursday evening. Looks like there are people hopping on, and I see red, so I must be live. Welcome. I am excited to come to you tonight. This is probably one of my favorite cards. It features a nativity scene, which is always my favorite Christmas cards anyway, and one of my favorite colors, blue. I even wore blue to go along with it. But anyway, I am so happy you're here this evening, and I can't wait to share this with you. So I have been sharing the Stamp-A-Stack cards that my girls made last week. My Christmas card Stamp-A-Stack, it's a favorite event of every Christmas, and we make 12 cards. I have 4 stations and they make 3 of each, and so it's just a lot of fun, and they come away with a stack of cards. But tonight I'm going to share the 4th. I've shared the first card. Let's see if I still have them sitting here. I think I do. So the first day I had shared the first of the 4 cards, which was this one. Looks like a wrapped Christmas present. Let's see, the second card I shared with you was this one. Peace on Earth, love that one. And then yesterday I shared a little joyful card with this one. And then today we are sharing the Nativity. And it is featuring the stamp set called A Child is Born. So here it is, and it opens up. So it's also going to be sharing a fun fold along with the stamp set. So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'm going to flip my camera down to my table here so we can get started and get stamping. So again, this is the card that I'm going to be sharing. This will give you an up-close look at it, and it opens. It's got a fun little fold, which is nice because it'll sit up nice too on a shelf or on your mantle where you put your Christmas cards. So this one comes out of, again, our mini catalog. This catalog is only good through the end of December. It actually, I think, might go into January 5th, but on page 16, it features the stamp set, and it's just a stamp set. It doesn't have a bundle or anything like that, but I love it. It's only $21. A Child is Born. Lots of beautiful images. This is a separate stamp set. So down here, this one right here. Here's a few samples over here showing it. So I am going to go ahead. Oh, and by the way, if you don't have this, I do have just a couple copies of it left. So let me know if you want your own copy. So here again, I'm going to show, this is the card. And we are also going to be using the beautiful cardstock, which I don't think I have, over here at my table. Nope, I don't have it. So I think I shared it the other day, but we're going to be using this paper. We used it on the second day. Let's see, on this card we used it as well. But we're going to just use a couple little strips, which nice, literally, if you just had scraps, you could use it. Here's one that uses out of the same paper pack, but a little bit different. And we've got coloring on here. I'm going to show you how easy that is. But some of the gals did choose to just keep it simple. They just stamped it and did just a tiny bit of shading on it. So that was also an option. You can do whatever you want. You could just stamp it and not do any shading. Let me go ahead and pull over. Oh, actually, let me pull over the stamp set to show you up close and personal. So A Child is Born. And there we go. Trying to get rid of some of that glare. Just a really cool set. So here's my packet. All my pieces and parts, including my envelope. So what I did is I cut a sheet of 8.5 by 11 in half long ways this way. Call that a hot dog bun instead of hamburger bun. But then I scored it right down the center, and that's at 5.5. And then I also scored, let me see, I'm going to put it down here to get the correct measurements. So I scored it at 2 1/4, 4 1/4, and then the 5 1/2. Okay, those are the score marks. And it's going to fold like this, and then it's going to fold like this. And what I'm going to do is adhere this section right onto here, kind of like that bookbinding card technique. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to take some of my adhesive and run it down on that strip, so it's that panel right there, and I'm going to glue it down. And then, so it's going to open this way, but then I'm going to have this flap. And what I'm going to do is go ahead, I've got another piece of cardstock, and this is like 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And right on this very end here, I'm going to attach it. So just like this. So let me go ahead and stick some adhesive on here. It feels like it's starting to pull, so I think I'm running out, but no worries. You know what? I probably need to put my readers on so I can actually see what I'm doing here. I'm so bad anymore without my readers. Let me go ahead and plop those on. Okay. Let's see if I have that on there straight. It's a little crooked. Uh-oh. I knew I should have put those readers on to start with. All right. There. Not too bad. That's why I try not to press down too soon. So it's going to open like this. Okay. Very simple. So that's the base. That's what we're starting with. And then the pieces and parts, I've got strips of the cardstock, and I could use either side of this. But I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to fold that down. This is just 1 inch by 4 inches, and it's going to fit right into that panel right there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. Yep, out of my runner here. So I'm going to show you real quick how easy this is to replace. I'm going to take this out. So this is, you can get refills for these, which is awesome. Here's a new one, brand spanking new, Stampin' Seal. Go ahead and open that up. And then right here where these little protrusions are, they fit right inside there, those little. So there's only one way to put this back in. So it sits down in there like that, and then the cover goes right back on. So save your cover. It actually has a cap too. I have it over here somewhere to protect that end. But I'm going to pull that off, so we should be ready to go again. Let's see. There we go. It's running much smoother. Make sure I have this right side up. I guess it depends on the cardstock you're using, but for this one, I want the doves flying right side up. And again, there's just it's a 1 1/4 inch little panel, and the cardstock is 1 inch, so it just fits right in there. And then I've got a little bit bigger strip. I think this one actually is a 1 1/4 instead of 1 inch. And it's going to go on the inside of the card back here. And I'm going to allow that same little frame around there. So let's see. Just right about there, sticking to my fingers. There you go. So you can start to see it coming together. And now we've got white cardstock that we've got to work with. So I've got one piece that's going to layer on the front, and it is 3 by 4. One that's very, very close. It's also 4 inches, but it's only 2 3/4. And I have one that's also 4 inches by 1 3/4. So this one, 1 3/4. This one is 2 3/4, and this one is just 3 inches. Sorry. And we're going to do our stamping on those. And then I got a piece of scrap here too, and I've got a piece cut out of a die cut piece out that we're going to use. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start with the largest piece. These two are very, very similar. So I was telling the girls at the class to make sure you use the one that's larger. And that's the one that we're going to stamp the actual Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus. Okay, so the colors we're using, I'm going to pull in My new favorite, Secret C. I've used it numerous times. We'll see how far I get without getting ink on me. All right. Actually, I'm going to take this. Sometimes with these, when it's a bigger image, I like to take the stamp and stamp it, or the ink pad and stamp it onto. Just kind of tap, tap, tap. Make sure I've got good coverage. Set that aside. And then I'm going to stamp this straight down and straight up. And I'm actually, again, just because of my setup here, it's kind of hard to see when it's white on white. So I'm going to pull this aside for now and put this down so that I can see better. Stamping that straight down and straight up. So it may go off on the left hand side, but as long as I have his staff in there, just giving that a firm press. Ah, yes, it stamps so beautifully. That color, I just absolutely love it. So let's go ahead and do the other, since we've got this, we'll go ahead and do these other panels. So on this panel, we are doing the manger, and I'm just going to stamp that towards the bottom. And on the last panel, we're doing the little baby sheep right here. And then the other thing I need to stamp on that scrap piece of cardstock I have right here, I'm going to stamp the larger sheet. Okay, while we got the ink out, let's go ahead and stamp onto our little flag here that's gonna have the message on it. Did I just get that all over there? Oh, of course I did. We'll stamp it and see how we do. All these images are right out of that stamp set. So this is for Unto Us a Child is Born. Oh, look, you can't even see where it was smudged. Also on here, I've got the inside verbiage, and that one is, "Oh, come let us adore him." Right there. Isn't that pretty script? Oh, I just love it. Okay, I think I'm done with the ink. Let's look here. Yes. Oops. So I'm going to set that aside. Now, we're going to stamp some stars. And I'm pulling in another favorite color, Cloud Cover. So Secret C, Cloud Cover were part of the new ink colors that came in. But I will tell you, the actual ink pad for the Cloud Cover, as soon as it was available for customers, it went into the last chance. And is only available as supplies last, and as is, because they had some problem with the ink not being stable in the foam pads that we carry, and it was not able to be rectified, and Stampin' Up! Didn't want to sell a product that, or guarantee a product that's not going to be stable. So some colors, some ink pads were fine and some weren't. I lucked out. Mine is fine. But I'm just giving you a warning that you can purchase it, but it's not guaranteed that that color will be stable. So the papers, the blends, the markers, everything else is great. It's just this particular ink. If you want to substitute it, you could use Balmy Blue. You could use one of the other blues. Or you could stamp off, like stamping off of like a Misty Moonlight is really similar. Or even the Secret C, but you might have to stamp off more than once. All that to say, I love the color that mine is, so I'm going with it. I'm staying with it. So I'm going to take this and I'm stamping this star right here, and this one's got like the bigger star in it, and then this one is just kind of got a sprinkling of stars. So I'm going to just stamp it a few times some of these are going to be covered on the front with the verbiage, but let's go this way and maybe this way. So it's just a really light sprinkling. It is a nice gray blue. Like I said, I think they were saying with some it wasn't staying stable. Some of them was turning more blue and some of them more gray. But I have loved it. Okay, I think that's it for my stamping. Okay. I think that's it. So let's pull this aside. I'm going to go ahead and actually just get rid of this now that I've done all the stamping. And we're going to work on some coloring. This is my favorite part. Again, for some people, it might not be their favorite part, but I love this part, is doing some coloring. And so for the coloring, we are using Stampin Blends, and I've got a whole boatload of them here that I'm using. And if you haven't used our blends yet, why not? These are so fun. They are alcohol-based markers, so they are wonderful for doing what they're meant to do, is blend really well. So I'm going to start with just this light gray granite. So when you purchase blends, they come in a set. So like this is our cloud cover, which the cloud cover in the blends are fine, but it'll come in a light and a dark. So every color will come in a light and a dark. And then this one is a white. It's actually a color lifter. So if you want to take away some color, this works really well. I need to have my daughter come in and do some class just on the blends, because she is phenomenal at using alcohol markers. So if you wanted to just keep it simple, like this card, then you could just go in with this light gray granite and just kind of, you know, do your shadowing. Either way, I'm going to use this for some shadowing, even if I'm going to do full colors. So like on this one, I'm in the camera, right? Yeah. It's just going to be some ground cover. I am not spending a lot of time stressed about exactly how that's going to look. It's just supposed to be a shadow, and I think sometimes the more you think about it, the more complicated it gets, where it's really supposed to be really simple. So it just kind of gives it a ground to sit on, instead of it just floating in the air. This one we actually don't have to do because we're going to be cutting this out, but I do want to give it some shade. So I'm just going to add, like I said, just like in the shadows of where I think it would have shadows. Really simple. Since it's white, I'm not doing a whole lot to that one. Same with this one. I'm going to just do a little bit of shadowing. Oh, and the other thing on these markers, one side is a brush, and it has this wide mark right here. If you flip it over, this other side, see it has a thin, oops, sorry. This one's got a thin line, this one's got a thick line. So I've been coloring so far with the brush side. This side is more of a detail side. So if you can see that, I don't know if that shows up really well. And they're not the easiest markers lids to pop off and on, but that's on purpose so that they don't dry out. With being alcohol based, they could dry out really easy. So there's my shadowing. So then I want to go in. These two guys I don't really need to do anything else to, but let's go with this one. I'm going to start with this ivory. Now ivory actually is paired with, where's it at? Bronze. These two come together, ivory and bronze. So I'm going to use the ivory for my skin tone. And we actually do have some markers that are actually different skin tones. And the other thing about these markers, and I'm hoping you guys are seeing this. Do I need to come down a little tighter maybe? You can layer them. So the more you layer them, the more color you put on, and the darker it'll get. So for example, with this face, I'm going to go back in again, add a little bit more on the neck there of Mary, kind of around the edges, maybe the hairline, definitely his ear. And I'm barely touching the cardstock, like with the tip of this. I don't know if you can see that, but barely. Like, I don't want to smash down on this tip because you'll destroy it. It's just barely painting on that. And again, you can layer to get, you know, the look and the color you want. But I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to go ahead and take that, the bronze, I believe, and add some color to the hair. This tip on this, actually, I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of unfortunately gotten smashed. So someone pressed down a little too hard with that. So it's kind of hard to color with when it gets smashed. I'm actually going to move along to, I've got these two that are light and dark pecan. So I'm going to use those because I know these, yeah, see how much better this tip is? I'm going to use this tip. It's going to give me, it just gives me a little bit more control of where the ink is going. I missed that side there of her hair. And it's okay if it looks a little mottled, like it's not, I'm not trying to make it perfectly even because it makes it, you know, look like a watercolor. So this one's the dark pecan pie. So see where there's some like shadows, where some of those lines are back in here. Maybe the edges where I've added more. And then you can always go back in with the tip and, you know, add some lines and get into some of those details a little better. But see how it's kind of mottled like watercolor? That's what you're going for. I think I'm actually really happy with that. So the other thing, since I have it out, I'm going to go ahead with this dark, and I've got that detailed tip. I'm just going to go ahead down on his staff right here and color that with that dark pecan. I don't know. I find this, for me, it's relaxing. It's stressful for others, but I find it relaxing. Okay, so for Mary, I'm going to use the cloud cover markers, and I'm going to add, I'm just going to fill in all of hers. Oh, I can see I missed part of her hand down there with the ivory, so I'll have to go back and do that. Okay, so that's just a light color. I can go over it and make it a little darker, like especially where these folds are, or move to the dark cloud cover, give me even a little bit more depth. And again, it's where you think you would see the shadows. Like this is kind of behind her and under her arm, so there'd probably be more shadows there. I think I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and pull over that ivory again, just to make sure I don't miss her hand. And the other thing I did with some of the skin tones, I went back, you don't have to do this, but I did go back to this light gray granite and kind of added a little bit of almost shadowing on the skin tone. Okay, what do we need to do now? Oh, let's go ahead actually with that gray granite onto little baby Jesus, kind of like we did the sheep. I don't want a lot of coloring. I want his swaddling clothing blanket to be white, so I just added a little bit of that gray granite in there. And now on to Joseph. We are going to go with crumb cake. Let's see, let's make sure I got the right. This is dark crumb cake, and this is light crumb cake. Okay, let's start with the light. And I'm going to, kind of like I did with Mary's, I'm just going to fill in the majority of it with just a solid color there. I can go back in. Darken it up a little bit, and then I am definitely going to go back in with the dark to even give me some more. This tip looks like it got a little used and abused too, so I'm going to have to be careful using this. Obviously, if you're using them at home, it's just going to be you, so they won't go through as much stress as they do when I'm using them here. But crumb cake is probably one of the most popular. I've bought so many crumb cakes. I just love that, because we did a nativity last year too that we had. But isn't that gorgeous? Okay, and then I do want to do the center here of him. I'm going to use, I pulled out, because I tried to pull out the colors that were in the DSP, the Designer Series paper. So I pulled out Night of Navy, and I pulled out Misty Moonlight. So I think I'm going to start with the Misty Moonlight. And if you're worried about the brush tip, again, you can use the detailed side. I kind of like the wide brush strokes that that brush tip gives me. And then I'm going to go back into it with this Night of Navy for my shadowing. There we go. Maybe back up again here. Now see, I don't know if you can see that right there, where I got a little bit over onto Mary. I'm going to use this color lifter and see if I can pull some of that off of there. And I was able to do that a little bit. Smooth it out a little. Yay! And I just might go back in here with this. But you get the idea. I wasn't sure if I was going to color the whole thing here tonight, but I ended up coloring it all. I'm going to add this shadow into his neck. I think I'm happy with that. Isn't that pretty? And then the only other thing left to color is the little manger scene, and that one again, I'm using crumb cake, and I like crumb cake. We'll start with that, just to kind of color the straw. Obviously, you could use one of our yellows, but I was just staying within this color family that I'm already using. That's the light. We'll go back in with some dark to give it a shadow here. Kind of with a little divot where baby Jesus would lay. And then for the wood part, I'm going back to my pecan colors here. Let's see, I've got light. We'll start with the light. Who likes to color? Does it stress you out, or is it therapeutic for you? For me, it's therapeutic. I love to do it. I can remember sitting in, I used to be on staff at a church. I used to be in youth ministry. And I remember sitting in the office one time. I was coloring something. It must have been something I was doing for the youth. Maybe a poster or something. Who knows? And I was coloring, and I remember him mentioning that to me. How that would stress him out, and it must have been therapeutic for me. And I said, yes, it really is. Again, if it's not, you can keep it super simple and do it like this. That was just the light gray granite, and I just literally just laid down little shadows and was done. But so there I've got my little manger. I've got the nativity, and I've got my verbiage. I've got this little guy, and then this. This is going to get cut out, and to save time and the magic of TV, I went ahead and already did that. So that's cut out for us. And I think we're ready to assemble. So let's set all these aside. And let's pull our card back in. So right here, it was all folded, scored, and we added that little panel on the front. So this panel right here is where Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus are going to go. And this is 3 by 4. And it's layered onto a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 panel. So it's starting to come together. Then to glue the inside, some of the ladies were like, how do I get this panel in? I just flip this back. Oh, here. Am I in the camera? I just flip this back here and it lays down flat. So then I can put this one in. Well, let me put adhesive on here first and then you'll see what I mean. So I'm just going to flip it back, and this fits again. It's just layered inside that panel. I'm trying to look here through my light, and then the last panel is this one, and it's going to be layered. It's just going to bump right up against this strip. This was a 1 1/4 inch strip, so you should be able to bump it right up against there. And as long as I got that in there straight, I can lay that down in there. All right. And then these pieces are going to be popped up on to the front. So this one, I'm gonna have him go right here. So I'm going to put a couple dimensionals on here, not on the back end because that's going to be sticking out. So I don't want it to stick. So it's going to go right about here. I like popping it up because it gives it that even added more dimension. And then the same with this one. This one's going to go up here. So I'm going to stick a dimensional here and one right about here. It's also going to hang over. So I don't want to put it all the way to the end. And we're going to place this right here. And then the last thing we need to do, and I'm looking for it because I might have lost it. Maybe I have it in the envelope. Let's see if I have it in the envelope. Was my little star that I cut out. Oh, here it is. It's in the envelope. I cut this out right there. That was out of one of the dies that we used the other day. And actually, I was going to use the green glue, but I think what I'm going to do is just use a glue dot. It's going to... So I'm just going to stick it onto a glue dot. You could also use the green glue or multi-purpose. I'm trying to get it off of here with this because it's going to be easier to put it on. Where I want to put it, remember where I stamped right here? It fits in that little star just perfectly. There we go. I love it. And then I did do the envelope ahead of time. I just took the envelope, stamped that same little sheet that I have in here and some of the stars, did a little bit of the shadowing on there. But then the other thing that I like to do is I like to take our Winkastella, and you don't have to do this, it's optional, but I think it's kind of nice to just add a little bit of shimmer just to certain areas. Let me pump this thing. It's not. See if I can make sure I got enough coming out of there. There we go. I think I got it going now. Oh, I got it way going. I might have pumped it a little too much there. Okay. Let's pull that off. Whoa. Okay, don't squeeze too hard. It actually has place on here. I don't know if you can see that. It says push. So you push it together like this. And I pushed a little too much. I'm not pushing now as I'm applying it. I'm just letting the brush it on. But I might also put a little bit on the sheet. Not a lot. That is a lot on poor baby Jesus. I have to let that dry. And then also on the sheep in here. And you can even put a little bit maybe on the manger bed. And it's just a tiny, I don't even know if you can see it right there maybe. It's just a tiny bit of sparkle. I got a lot of sparkle here on the front there. I gotta let that dry. But I like it because it's not like glitter that just makes a mess and gets everywhere. It stays put, which is kind of nice. So again, this one with the full coloring. There's the envelope. Fun to open. You can you have room here to sign. Or let's see, this one has a different. It's the same paper pack, but just a different sheet. So it gives it a little bit different look, or simplified, where you're just using just the outline basically and coloring it. So I love those. So what do you think? Let me know. I'm going to pull this up a little bit, and what I'll do is I'll pull in, let's see, let's put these two away. Let's pull in the rest of the cards from all week. Yesterday was this one. And let's see, the day before this one, we did this one. Am I in the camera? I don't know if I'm in the camera still. Here we go. And then the first day was this one. This one should fit in here. So it was just such a fun class. And I'm so glad that I got to share it with you guys. Let me go ahead and I'm going to flip the camera around so that we can chat a little bit more. And how fun was that? So which one was your favorite? This was card 4. You need to vote in the comments. Let me know. This was card 4. This was card 3. We're going backwards. This was 2. And this one was 1. Let me know which is your favorite. I said every time my favorite card happens to be the one that I'm working on. So tomorrow, I'm going to be back tomorrow. I think I'm coming back I'm coming back at 1 to share the little party goodie, which I can't even show you because I had my my ladies, my small group women's Christmas party last night, and I made them. That's what I made them in as a little, you know, take-home thing, and I gave them all away. So I don't even have it. So I'll be making one. I do have one. This is one that's kind of made out of just a piece of DSP, but it's not decorated up, but it's the same little concept. So I'm going to share how to make that, and it looks like a little Santa with a little black belt. It's super cute. And I put some, I do have Ghirardelli chocolate. Oh, I hope I still have, oh, I do. Ghirardelli chocolate that we're going to put in there. But this was such a cute pack. It even had, look how cute that is. It's a big bag from Costco. But anyway, I am looking forward to coming back tomorrow and sharing that with you. Just a reminder, and I should have done it while my camera's down, so it would have been easier, but I do have another class coming up on December the 4th, and I have 2 classes that day, 2 time slots, one at 1 and another one at 6:30 in the evening. So whether you like to come during the day or whether you like to come in the evening, it will not take near as long to do as the Stamp a Stack, because you're only making 1 of each card. And I'll give you a little sneak peek of those. So here's one. Opens like this. I haven't even stamped anything on the inside of these. I was so excited when I designed them. I just didn't. And I just wanted to get the class info out there. Look at that. Ah, love it. Love all the bling. I'm using these ovals, or arches, I guess I should say. Here, another card, and it's got texture on there with the folder. I don't know if you can see that. And this one's probably my favorite. And this one's like straight out of the catalog. So it is a catalog and idea book. Idea book and catalog, I think, is actually, at least that's what they used to call it. I don't know what they call it now, but anyway, I love it. Use it for ideas because it's got such wonderful ideas. But that class, again, is coming up on the December the 4th, and I've only got a few spots left, so please get registered. It's $42. You're going to be making 4 cards. Everything's cut and prepped except the DSP, because you're going to get an entire pack of that DSP, which is gorgeous, by the way. Gorgeous. this DSP. This is the Traditions of Christmas DSP. You're going to get an entire pack of this and a set of the little sequins, the bling. You can get a whole pack of that as well too. And you're using very little on the cards. I mean, seriously, there's some here that we're cutting out of the DSP, like this card and this one. We're using very little in the class, so you're going to have a lot of this paper left to do with, to play with. I'm trying to pull it out of here again. I've got pieces and parts of it, so, but hopefully you can get an idea. I think I showed it maybe the first day. Maybe go back on Monday and look. Oh, I did, because I had a new pack over here and showed. But it's double-sided. So the back side's more simple, and then the front side is the really pretty with that foil. Love it. This one's got stripes. So these are a few of the pieces that you can see. Like I said, this pack isn't complete because I've been using it up. I used to hoard it. I've got so much designer series paper or pattern paper or pretty paper, whatever you want to call it, scrapbook paper that's 12 by 12, some of it's 6 by 6. And I used to use it so sparingly, and I don't know why, because I still have tons of it. But now it's like I want to use it up because it's so pretty, and I want to share it with others so they can enjoy it as well. I'm excited about that class, so hopefully you can join me for that. Let me know right away. Let's get you registered so I can make sure that I have everything here and on time. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining me this week. Come back tomorrow, and I'll show you the little treat, and that's quick and simple to make. You can make a bunch of them really easy, and really for any season. So, but I like this idea to make it kind of look like a little Santa. So anyway, I think that's it. I don't know. There might be more, but I'll come back on tomorrow and share if there's something I forgot. But thanks for joining me tonight, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye-bye.